And that period of boot camp, you still call it boot camp?
Yes.
Okay. That period is how long now?
9 weeks.
9 weeks. Is that how long it was for you?
No, I think it was 11 weeks for me. That's interesting. Now that's 50 years ago. Imagine that, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was 11 weeks then. That's kind of
Ours
interesting.
was 16.
The Marines. Well, you got to beat it into you guys.
Yeah, that's
Can't-
true. They did. They beat it into us.
The Navy guys are a whole lot smarter. Well, if you were to, and I don't want me to put you in a position to be a salesperson here, either one of you, but if somebody said, you know, I'm thinking about maybe going into the Air Force or going into the Marines or going into the Navy, what would you tell them that, you know, the Navy is better because of this? Maybe any one or two things.
Well, I don't particularly stop somebody from joining a different branch of the military. You know, I'll sit down and talk to them, and I'll see what their goals are and, you know, what they ultimately want to achieve with their lives. And then from there, I'll let them know how we can do that through the Navy. And if they're not happy with what we can do for them, then we'll encourage them to go to other branches, because, you know, you don't buy the first car you see. So we want them to shop around and go to all other branches and see what everybody what everybody has to say and what everybody has to offer.
Good for you. You look at the military as one whole big family, then, not just
Right, it's
the
one
Navy.
team.
Right.
piece.
Right.
That's excellent. That's
We
nice
work
to
for
hear.
the same person, you know, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
That really is, yeah.
Now, do you have a fairly good chance at getting a duty station after you've gone through boot, and, you know, if you're going to, if your specialty is in, like in Hawaii, is there a good chance that you would get that, or do you need to really put in some time before you?
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is how it works. When you go to, after boot camp, you go to your A school, which teaches you your job. They have an equal number of jobs for the number of students that they have in the A school. The better GPA you have in the A school means you're picking the first one. So you can pick whatever is on the list.
Yeah.
If you're the last one for the GPA, then you're getting whatever's left.
And that
over.
hasn't changed.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
the same way when I went to school.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's right. You reward the ones that work the hardest and do the best job. I mean, it just makes sense.
Right.
Yes. I mean, that's also the only time in your career that you might have a little bit of uncertainty of where you're going to be stationed. You know, you make that wish list of the top 3 places you want to be stationed. Depending on your performance at A school, you get 1, 2, or 3. After that, after you do your first tour, like 4-year tour or whatever it may be, and you decide to re-enlist, then you'll get to choose wherever you want to go. You'll go online and you'll see what's available for your job and the certain locations they need you. You'll talk to what's called a detailer, and that detailer will, you know, choose your orders for you, and then you can go and get stationed where you want
that's
to.
great.
Like
You can
I
actually go
chose to
online
come to
and look at
Illinois.
it.
You know, I chose to go to Hawaii, so I've had complete control of my career so far.
Oh, that's great.
How many sailors nowadays are on ships versus shore-based? Is there a percentage that you guys might know about that?
There's
Most people
not-
think of them on ships all the time.
Well, the Navy's standard is you should expect to go to sea because you are a sailor. That's not always. I mean, there are some rates that don't go to sea. I've been in almost 19 years, and I haven't been to a ship yet.
You're missing a lot. You need to
I am. I've seen a lot. I've been overseas a lot. So
So, but what a percentage? Would you say that 80% of the Navy is shipboard, or 50%, or 70%?
I'd say at least 80 to 90.
I don't know the exact percentages, but I know the percent that goes to sea is a lot higher percent.
Yeah.
Now, besides if someone has the interest in becoming an officer, besides the academy, there's the NROTC, I know, through a lot of major universities, which is an excellent program as well. But do they have OCS? I mean, can you go in the Navy and be an enlisted man for a while and then decide you would like to try to be an officer and apply for OCS?
Yes. You actually, while you're in the Navy as an enlisted person, you can put in a package to transfer to an officer position. That's actually the most beneficial way, because you actually know the deck plate leadership, what goes on underneath the decks. When you become an officer, you'll know how to run the enlisted person better.
What kind of qualifications do they look for somebody to become an officer? A young guy like you, let's say your history probably, you know, like
I am pretty
but
much.
you're a guy that maybe might want to do that.
Well, for officers, it's more educational oriented. There's many programs when you're enlisted that you can go officer, such as like seaman to admiral or whatever it may be. And I mean, officer and enlisted is 2 different worlds, and you know, it's not for everybody. But you can there's ways where you can enlist just come into the Navy as an officer, like you said, ROTC or you know, Annapolis, stuff like that. Or once you're enlisted, there's ways you can go to, but it all depends on the person and what they ultimately want to achieve with their, you know, with their career.
But if you wanted to become an officer,
If I wanted to,
you have to go to school for a while still in the Navy, perhaps, to qualify?
right, which while I'm on active duty in the Navy, I can go to school for free. If I do obtain a degree, then I can put an officer package in and go. Or I can go seaman or admiral, and the Navy will pay for me to go to school for, you know, a certain, like an engineering degree or whatever they need at the time, and then I'd be commissioned in as an officer.
Well, that's a big deal when you say you can go to school for free.
Right.
Can anybody do that that's in the Navy now?
Anyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if some young guy doesn't really have the money or whatever, or hasn't got the maturity right now, he joins the Navy, 2 years later he thinks, boy, I better start going to school and getting my education.
Well, even
Yeah.
if you think further down in your life, I mean, you're not going to be in the Navy forever.
Right.
You can actually use the money for college up to 10 years after you get out of the Navy.
Yeah,
So
my son had the what is that, the GI Bill, I guess.
Montgomery
yeah.
GI.
And they
Montgomery
were
General.
paying here. Yeah, but while you're in, are there certain schools you have to go to, or
Well-
is it all online, or?
There's different ways. The Navy's very, very educational oriented. A lot of people have the misconception of, well, I can join the Navy and do my 4 years, and then I can get out and use my Montgomery GI Bill to get my degree. But, you know, I'm wasting 4 years where I could be going to school, which isn't the case. Well, you come in and you're on active duty, every major ship, naval installation all across the world will have the resources, and you'll have the opportunity to go to school to get a degree.
That's key.
Whether you're on board a ship in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, you can be taking online courses, CLEP exams, SMART exams, whatever it may be, or while you're on a shore-based command like I am right now, I could be attending, you know, any university that's in my area, just as long as, you know, I'm keeping up my GPA and I can time management my workload,
Sure,
being a
right.
recruiter, and also going
Right.
to school at the same time.
That's so outstanding. A lot of young people
Oh.
don't know that.
My son got a master's degree and PhD while he was, because he was a career Air Force officer, and both were paid for by the Air Force.
Yeah.
It's
But a lot of
amazing.
young people say, just what you said, I don't want to waste 4 years, I better start now. And of course, I would argue that that's not a waste of 4 years. It was the best 4 years of my life.
Right.
And I loved that time. And I did go to school. Even 50 years ago, they allowed us to go to school. I don't think it was at the level that you can do it today. But that's just a valid point. It's great for everybody to know that. And I hope you tell kids that when they
Oh,
come
yeah.
in and talk to you, right?
Absolutely.
That's great. That's
Now,
excellent.
your recruiting office is located,
Schaumburg Road.
what's that address?
1391 West Schaumburg Road, Schaumburg, Illinois.
And is there a phone that someone could call if they wanted to just chat with you on the phone and get some basic information?
Sure. It's 847-895-1157.
Okay, great. Well, fellas, it's really been an honor having you here.
It has.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, hey, we're very proud of you.
Well, you represent our country wonderfully. You know, it is. We're very proud to have you here. Really appreciate your time, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know we had a little trouble communicating at one point because I was not responding as quickly as I should have, but we really glad
That's
we
because
got
you're a
together.
Marine. What?
Would you get off of that?
We forgive you.
We'll forgive him.
Yeah.
That's right.
But seriously, guys, I mean, really been great having you here. We're very proud to have you representing us in our country. So thank you.
Thank you.